Hi everyone, I'm Louis. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Apidaze. So I was very happy this morning to see Olivier introduce Roger Voice, which is a good example of what you can do with our platform and mashing it up with other platforms. And so, as Alan said, I wanted to keep it light. So last week, 2 weeks ago, I was at the Web Summit, which is the other part of the world, the web, which has democratized telecoms. And I had a totally different audience. So I started my presentation by asking the audience how many people knew the application Slack. So I will ask the same question. How many people in this room know the Slack application? Okay, and use it. Okay. Then my second question was, how many of you have like a phone number displayed on your website? And then this I won't ask here, but then the arms went all down, and I think it was an interesting starting point to show what problems we face. Oops. That's good. We face in the industry. In fact, if you are not from the telecom industry or from the unified communication industry, business communications seem to be something which is quite expensive, complex, and closed. It means like it's really like a big barrier. And it's something that is strange because these markets, as you all know, are huge. So how can it come that like the most disruptive companies, the web companies, the startups all over the world are not in capacity of displaying a phone number? So this is the first problem we were trying to solve when we were created 2 years ago. If you're a developer, you can solve two kinds of problems. You can either solve a price problem, if you want to connect to a network and if you want to use voice, for instance, for call centers. But the most important thing is if I want to add features to or create applications or for existing applications, I can use the Apidaze WebRTC API or SDKs, and I can even use SMS. But if you're not a developer, and this is something we wanted also to address, and this is a lot of people, I mean there are startups where they are not only developers, what can you do? So at Apidaze we are a little bit different from other API platforms. We try also every 6 months to come out with new applications that can solve very, let's say, repeat problems, like how can I put a phone number on a website, how can I put a call widget on a website. So we come out with this kind of applications. But our main message is build your own solutions in an inexpensive, simple, and open way. And I think there is really, we saw this morning all these beautiful applications. Maybe it's my phone. Oops. And I think there is really a huge opportunity that as an API platform we experience every day, is that there is really a huge opportunity because there are two things that are changing and that open a lot of business opportunities for us. It's the way we consume services. So we saw, for instance, an application this morning that Olivier introduced and other applications we saw this morning, and also the way we work. So, and the way we work is more collaborative, and I think Slack in the last year has shown that it's really very easy to take an application and to make multiple usages of it. So I just wanted, it's a light presentation, to focus on that one and introduce you a little bit to what we did with this application that we called Hotspot, which is basically a lightweight business phone system for anyone using Slack. So now I'm going to do a dangerous thing, is try to swap to a demo. Okay. So basically if you all know Slack, where you can have your teams, what Hotspot does is in 20 seconds, you get a phone number anywhere in the world. and your teams can start receiving and making calls. So it goes through an authentication process through Slack, through the Slack API. Then there is a double factor authentication provided by Nexmo, where we control the phone number of the user, where he gets the code. And then it's very easy. You just have like to choose a country, and you can pick a phone wherever you want. Let's say here, okay, in the US, for instance, in San Francisco. Let's hope it works. So I choose a phone number, I confirm, and I have instantly my phone number. And here, we took the graphics of Slack. You can very easily and in a very user-friendly way say I switch on and switch off the system. You can have like voicemail greetings with a standard message. Okay, no sound. Okay, sorry. So you have like a standard greeting. You can redirect the number to anyone in your team, and then you can very easily create a channel or use an existing channel in Slack to send notifications into the Slack channel. So here we have like a channel where you receive all your hotspot calls here, and then you can start using it and making and receiving calls. So here you have all. You can make calls everywhere you want. You can import contacts into the application, and you can also like label calls and send notes to Slack. And you have all the statistics for your team. So for the moment there are not a lot of calls. Okay, so this is an example, and I wanted also to share that because we launched it like at the Web Summit. It was because we were looking for what can we show. If we go there to the web world and we show a telecom API, I think most of the people will not understand what we are doing. So we integrated this application, and immediately people understood. So we can make telecom from complex to very simple, because it solves a real problem for a lot of startups. And basically answering, do you use Slack? Yes. Do you have a phone number? No. So come over here. So I cannot share the exact figures, but I mean the adoption rate, like in the last 10 days, is like huge. We onboarded over 200 teams in this application. We even have the Twilio team, which we onboarded with hundreds of members. So it's quite impressive, and I think this shows the power of a collaborative tool, but it also shows the power of what an API can do, and we can do much more than what we did here. We can add SMS, we can add conferencing, we can add a lot of things to this, and it can be. Hopefully, it will become a quite popular application, which in fact started by being a demo. So it's our internal startup. Oops. So back to the slides. Okay, so we saw everything. So these are all the features. I'll share this presentation. So with our API, you can, here I listed some companies. You can do completely different things. We have ad networks like Xanox who are doing call tracking, Criteo who use it for remote WebRTC features, for remote workers. VisiPerf is also an ad network. Bank Casino are using the widget for call solution. Roger Voice that you saw this morning. And also one of the reasons why we are here at TAD Summit is because we are very open to alliances and partnerships. So we're working on the JSIC project, and we also work on Ubuntu to charm some of our applications. So yeah, we are very enthusiastic about all these API movements and all this TAD movement, because I think, and we feel it from year to year that things are really changing and that the telecom and the web world are really coming together closer and closer. So that's it. Thank you, and you can come on our tabletop and get a nice t-shirt. Thanks.
Excellent. Okay, just project. Thank you so much, Lewis. Do we have any questions for Lewis?
Motion.
Can we get this done red? Both of them. Just so everybody can hear. It was a battery issue. We have power again.
Thank you. I think it's very cool how you're building on Slack, which is a very fast-growing platform. I just have a stupid question. Do you think that people actually convert to paying users for this kind of service?
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to have the answer. This is something we started because we need also like to do demos. We need to demo, you know, like when we talk about APIs, people don't always visualize what they can do. You can do everything or nothing, you know, but basically what people are looking for is like I make a call or I send an SMS, that's the basic. But to show that you can really like do much more things, and because we were using Slack for us, so we were the first users, and we don't have like a business phone system at the office, and we also work some of remotely. We set up this kind of thing. So your question is, what I can say is that understanding of the tool is immediate, and you know a lot of people, more like web people, understand it immediately and go on it. If they are willing to pay, that's a good question. I'll tell next year.
A secondary question, because the problem we have at the moment is education. People just aren't aware of all the cool things you can do. I mean, that's part of what we've been doing with TADAC, is just banging the drum across so many different industry sectors, showing what we can do. And for Apidaze, maybe that isn't the monetization route. 200, was it 200 people or 200 teams?
Teams.
200 teams.
Much more people.
Now they're all could be using Apidaze APIs, to which you have a clear monetization model.
Yep.
So again, it's part of it is just education, education, education. I think as an industry, especially if you come from the telco side or the VoIP side, you sort of look at it as, well, it's all obvious. Well, actually, for most people, it's like this black box, and it's showing people the fact that this black box now is open and programmable. We've only just started scratching the surface. Any other questions? If not, let's thank Lewis for an excellent presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.